Hey everyone, and welcome back. I can't say Canadian gamers; it's so weird. And I don't
Yeah,
want to
it's
say
not Canadian.
international gamers. This is entirely Steven's fault
Yep.
for naming these things completely unrelated to gaming. But all right, so did you ever play that damn game that has that weird name on
Uh,
Steam?
no, I
I
have
knew
not.
it. I
It's
knew
been
it.
busy, but yeah, I need to get to it. Actually, I have a backlog, but I do think, considering we're talking about how Steven in the podcast, how he doesn't really play much anymore, and especially when he gets bored, watches stories with Netflix. I'm not bored, but doesn't have the patience, I should say. So it's definitely not a game for you, Steven, because it's very, one thing is true is very, very heavy story driven with a lot of dialogue, kind of like what's it called, a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age with a bunch of different dialogue options you could select and they could respond back. So not a game for you anymore, Steven. So
Oh.
maybe years ago, but not now. But I hope to get at the game time maybe today or later tomorrow.
I don't know. I keep bugging you, but the truth
I
is,
know I keep forgetting
like,
about it too.
but it's just funny because, like, you're not the only one. I also have. I haven't bought it though, so that's the difference. I haven't bought it.
Oh, it's good.
It's on my
It's
wish
probably gonna be
list.
worth it. And I'm pretty sure people post in the comments. I guarantee there's people that buy games and never play it and have a huge backlog. Because the problem is like Steam. I don't know on console. I'm pretty sure consoles have decent seasonal, but like all 4 seasons plus their developer and publisher sales, they got such huge deals, dude. That why wouldn't you buy them? Like I bought a $30-$40 game for $7. I mean, why wouldn't you buy it, right? I never paid full price. Like, only times like maybe Helldivers with a full was a live service. I'll do that because you know it's gonna probably be okay, but you get a lot of value out of it. But other than that, I never buy hardly any games full price, except for unfortunately Nintendo games, which never go effing down in price, which is a joke. But
I love this. I love this. So that means
I know
he's
Steve. I know
cheap.
Steven. No, no, not that. It's called being smart. I know Steven says the market dictates, but at the same time, he is true because, well, one, Nintendo doesn't budge, and people have no choice. So is that really market dictating the price? I don't think so.
Well, no. What
When
he what
you're
he what he's saying is that, like, if people didn't like it, they wouldn't buy the games. It's as
that, yeah,
simple
exactly. So
as
yeah,
that.
Nintendo's not stupid. They're a smart business. So if the price doesn't need to budge, it's because there's for a reason for it. And yeah, more power to them. But I'm not their target market anymore. No, I do love the last podcast about how you guys are talking about power. You guys get me all wrong because Nintendo's full of shit. Because you
I
can
love
have
it.
great gameplay, great visuals. They just take a hit on hardware, but they refuse to do that. Sony doesn't make a profit. Microsoft definitely doesn't make a profit. Now their consoles are still a little bit more higher price, but the Switch 2 is rumored to be $500, dude. That's not cheap by any
Well,
means.
let's
That
see.
that's pricey, right?
Yeah,
So
let's see. Let's see. It's a perfect segue though to our first topic, which is about Microsoft, and I'm curious to hear about this because I was talking to Ahmed about it, and it's funny because Microsoft is the technically the newest entry, right? Like they're the newest player in the console, whatever market space, whatever you want to call it. Although
are they
now,
now? Oh yeah, they are.
like
Sega's gone.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, are you kidding? Sega's gone. You realize that Sega had the Master System, the Genesis, the Saturn, and Dreamcast. That's four systems that they had. If you look, PlayStation has now lasted longer than Sega ever did in the console space.
Wow,
Like when you think of
amazing.
interchangeable, I know you could say like the SG1 and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the core platforms that we all know. That's crazy to think that PlayStation has been in the market longer than Sega was. And for Xbox, they're tied. That's insane to me. Like,
Especially with us, we grew up on Nintendo versus Sega,
I know it's
PlayStation,
crazy.
all that, and yeah, it's amazing.
It
It's
is.
funny because Xbox never kind of. There's fans of it, obviously. I mean, if I were to get a console, I'd definitely go to an Xbox. I did get the first Xbox or the Xbox 360. Which one was that? I did get the first one and the second one. Then after that,
Yeah,
I
though that's
stopped.
the
PlayStation 3 was the last PlayStation I got. Not only consoles I have, if you want to call them a console, is a Switch. Well, it's technically, I guess it's a hybrid. It's really a
it's so
tablet.
funny. I can't wait. Steven must like pull his hair out when he listens to this.
It's true.
I love
I mean,
this.
the Switch has some good games. I'm not knocking it. They've done extremely well with it. Matter of fact, I have to play Mario Strikers on it. I can start playing. That's one of my favorite series. And unfortunately, the Switch version isn't as good as like the GameCube version. It's missing, stuff. But yeah, well, what can you do? But it's one of my favorites. So
This is so
it has
funny.
some good games.
It's hilarious.
I'm still holding off for Mario Kart to be on sale, but I think I'm going to lose that battle.
You're hilarious. Just buy it if you want it.
Yeah,
okay. The first topic we haven't even talked about, but it was Microsoft has set up apparently a dedicated team to help with Xbox game preservation. And this is really interesting to me because, like, for me, I've talked about this forever and ever. And Steve and I have debated is a hard, that's a big word, but Steven's talked about this a lot, and he's right. He's 100% right. That's why it's not really a debate. A company is entitled to do whatever the hell they want with their property, right? It belongs to them. That's what kills me about Konami. Like, it kills me. Like, I was talking with Ahmed yesterday all about this to say, like, I cannot believe SNK has resurrected itself to a point now where, Samurai Showdown's back. We've got a new Fatal Fury in the work. King of Fighters is back. And now they just teamed up. I forget the company, but like Metal Slug and other games are all going to start coming back.
I remember, I don't know if I would like Metal Slug now unless it's done maybe in a third person kind of shooter thing like AKA kind of something like Helldivers, something like that. Maybe not quite like Helldivers, but that kind of view, because I have an argument with like Cranberry, who else? Some other people. One of my friends, his nickname Zam online, but I have an argument with, because let's bring up Diablo 4 real quick, okay? So Diablo 4, 3, I played 1, 2, loved them. I hated 3 because of the story. I didn't like it. And 3, it was good gameplay, but I didn't enjoy it. That's why I kind of tapered off and got out of those type of games. And so Diablo 4 comes out, and I'm looking at of course I'm interested, so I look at the presentation and I'm like, F and A, man, this looks literally like 3. I cannot see any graphical improvements. Again, some people might disagree in comments. I have it on Game Pass now, so I'm going to actually check it out just for the story. But the thing is, what I mean is the series hasn't progressed. And I blame fans for this, and of course companies. Companies want to play it safe, like, they want to follow a trend that's worked in the past, because there's a huge investment in these games. I can understand that from the business aspect, but from a consumer aspect, I'm getting tired of the same overhead view and all that. Why not do there's amazing action RPGs that are full 3D now, third person or even first person. Why can't we go to the next level, have an engine that you can sit there like, wow, look at this game. Look at what Diablo's meant to be. You see, and people are like, oh, well, we don't want that.
But that's
Dragon
it, dude.
Quest fans. They can't change the gameplay. That's blasphemy.
Well, it is what it is, right? Like, that's these particular series, but we're getting so off topic here. The topic is supposed to be about game preservation, and Steven, I was saying that Steven talks a lot about how, like, companies, it's their properties. Totally agree, but it drives me crazy. It really does drive me crazy when, and it was so funny because we were talking about Resident Evil 2, right? Like, classic Resident Evil 2. I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. I do not believe today there is a way to play Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 legally. The classic versions.
What about the PlayStation 1, if you have that still?
No. I'm saying legally, like, as in you're brand new. You're a brand new gamer today,
I see what you're
sort of thing. Like, I don't think so, because on Steam you've got Resident Evil Remake, but not the original. You've got Resident Evil 0. I think you have Resident Evil 2 Remake, but I don't think you have the original classic. I'm pretty sure you don't have the classic. Anyway, whatever. The point is, like, I am a huge supporter of this. And the fact that Microsoft is doing that, kudos to them. I know Steven said in the past, and others have too, that the sales just aren't there. That's
Yeah, you're
why
right.
companies don't do this, because like if it was a huge success, they would obviously all be doing this, but because not that many people go back and play these classics in comparison to like the newer releases, that's why they don't bother to do this. But I am a huge history buff. So for me, like when I read that news, I was like, well, that's good. Like at least one of the companies, even if it's not a lucrative market or whatever, it is good because you don't want to lose these games forever, right? Like,
I
and yes,
agree.
these CDs and stuff, and I go like this because all my PlayStation games are above me, my PS1 games. Like, I get it. I get it that, you know, there are so many ways to illegally play these games today, but it's not the same thing. Like, and it's a shame that you just don't have the ability to go back and easily play these things. So kudos to Microsoft for this. I like this.
Yeah, I agree. And so looking at Resident Evil, it looks like it does have Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, but they're not called remake. Wow, Resident Evil 2 has overwhelmingly positive. It doesn't look like they're remakes, but they are definitely not the original. Yeah, they're definitely been updated visually, but they don't say like Resident Evil remake.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything
no,
like
no,
that.
no. If it's but I guarantee you, it's the remakes that you're
Yes,
looking
yes.
at for sure.
Jesus, man, and there's still $40. Wow, not bad. That's not
Oh
bad.
yeah, but
Resident
you
Evil
just,
4.
dude, you just missed the sale. Probably Capcom had
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah,
huge
yeah. They had a.
sale
Mhm.
that was on. Like I bought Resident Evil, like the GameCube remake. There, I paid like I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
I hear that's excellent and it's worth it if you because I had the original and they've I guess added story, so I might want to wait next sale and
Yeah, it
try to
was
because
dirt
Resident Evil
cheap,
4 was
man.
great, right?
They're all good. Like
Good.
all of those are classic. So, anyways, like for me, I mean, not much to really talk about except to say that like I think I fully support those sorts of things. Now, what you're talking about series evolving and stuff like that, I mean, this has been what you're saying is the age old argument forever, right? Like that is the age old argument. You have people that are like, well, I want the same thing I had before, but if you give them the same thing they had before, they're like, why is it exactly the same as it was
Yeah, they
before?
bitch. Yeah,
But
that's
if
so
you
funny.
change it,
Then they
then
bitch
too
too.
far. Yeah, exactly. So you can't really win. You get the rare exceptions, right? Like, so
Like Zelda.
yeah, exactly. When Breath of the Wild came out, that was I consider that one of the very rare exceptions where the community sort of embraced that change. Then you get well, I know people might disagree with me, but I've never liked what Final Fantasy has done. I've never liked that
Oh wow.
personally,
Okay.
because the idea that every game is a standalone thing, gonna have its own gameplay, its own mechanics, its own this, its own that, its own everything else, like, then why are they all the same series? You know what I mean? Like in that point, like if it's
Oh.
always going to be totally, yes, you have the same, you know, you may have the same, Sid and the same enemies and the same, like, say themes and stuff like that. But it's always bugged me because like Final Fantasy VII's materia system, I really liked that. Like I really, really liked that. And playing the game and knowing like, well, this is it. You'll never play another game with this system ever again. I was kind of like, that's stupid.
I kind of see what you're just going to come into what we're going to be playing in about the same very topic, which is one of our topics for Monster Hunter in a little bit. I can understand that, but like to bring up like Monster Hunter series, like every series or every game tends to have its gimmick or theme, so that kind of changes things up. And what sucks is it sucks and good at the same time because like, well, if that mechanic was awesome, why? Oh man, I wish they would bring it back. Or if a mechanic sucks and they don't bring it back, that's a good thing. But no, you're right. There's certain things like in the Monster Hunter series, if you've played it over the years, each game like Rise has that grappling thing where you can
Yeah,
burst
right,
across
right.
everything.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to come back, and a lot of people like that. I personally think it's really a lot of fun, but chances are it's not going to come back for maybe a game or two, if ever. So I can understand what you're saying is like changing it up too much sometimes could be a bad thing, but maybe. Well, it's kind of interesting because you remember back in the day, the jump from NES to Super NES was large in terms of graphics and visual, et cetera, et cetera. Nowadays, that graphic jump's not there anymore. Yes, it is, but it's usually in subtle differences like frame rates,
Yeah.
draw distance, animation frames per second. That improves. but the core visuals aren't really that drastically different. Like a game 2 years ago compared to here, or even five, it's okay, yeah, a little sharper, a little better, but it's not like whoa.
Yeah,
Now
yeah. Well, dude.
you remember the
Yeah,
days
yeah,
when
yeah.
it was
Never,
blew
dude.
your
Like,
mind.
I've got what is that? I've got a RTX 2080 Ti. Okay, the graphics card. I'll put it like this so it doesn't. You can see it is like probably like that thick, something like that. And
Yeah,
now they're like
they're
that
yeah, they're
thick
huge,
or whatever, and double the price of what I paid, and yet you're not really getting. Okay, some are gonna say double the output. Okay,
Yeah.
but you're not. I don't think you're ever going to get that fidelity jump ever again because they're updating things just way too often now. Like it's crazy. And anyway, like don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy fans, I am one of the longest Final Fantasy fans. Like I've been there since literally day one. But that's the difference between Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, because you mentioned Dragon Quest, and we'll talk a little bit about that after. But that's the thing where it's like the one thing with Dragon Quest that I liked over the years was that you could rely on the gameplay. They would change up the story, they would change up, obviously the graphics, and they would add new elements, sort of like what you're saying. It feels very similar, and I know people have told me I'm crazy before, but it does feel very similar to Pokemon, where Pokemon's core stays the same game in, game out, like the base core of what you're doing, but they'll add different elements to make it fresh. Now leaning more and more into these open worlds and stuff like that. But the core mechanic is really the same as it was in 1996. Dragon Quest Dragon Quest 11, beautiful in my opinion, one of the beautifulest games of last gen. Great storyline, all that sort of stuff. But in terms of the core mechanics, yes, there's different elements. We used to get tension, now we don't get tension anymore. Stuff like that. The two series, I always said this, they share a lot in common, where they're both very traditional series that you know what you're getting. Like when you buy it, you know exactly what you're getting, and away you go. And to your point about, evolution or changing or whatever, this Steven was saying that the other day, like where he was like, we could get a core Pokemon, like the traditional Pokemon gameplay, and then the Legends sort of series could be that new experimental sort of vein. With Dragon Quest, they've tried so many different things. Like they've tried so many different things over the years. You have your Monster sub-series, you've got Heroes, which was an all-in action game. And I really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with 12. I wanted to mention this, that the producer, long-running producer since the DS games, it's really hard to find details, especially in Japan, because they're still very honorable to their employees. Like they won't badmouth people publicly and stuff like that.
That's good.
So it's very hard to find out, but it seems like the producer stepped down from the Dragon Quest series. But does that mean, did he really step down, or was he fired, or restructured, or whatever?
They're being respectful.
Yeah, well, that's it, exactly. And so apparently he's being moved to mobile games, which that might seem like a big demotion to us, but really,
not really.
In Japan, I mean, there's so many Dragon Quest mobile games, it's unreal. This is my Japanese iPad that's filled with Dragon Quest games that I play.
Yeah, there's one I played for a while, but I stopped. It was decent. It was American released. God, what was it, just recently? Last year or the year before. It was okay. It was where you go around an adventure and you like slash and stuff. But I don't know. But
no, but
I stuck. I'm not much of a mobile gamer, but
no, me neither. But like, I like to do some of these things because some of them they'll have Dragon Quest X, like what do you call it, like synergies, right, between the two games and stuff. So like if you'll do something in one, you'll get a little reward in 10, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Okay, now the news was, where the hell is it? I think it was Nier. Yeah. So the producer now, which is Yosuke Saito, who's a producer at Square known for his work on the Nier series, is supposedly the current front runner to take the lead on the Dragon Quest series. Now, that would be interesting for people like you, who are talking about evolving the series. So I don't remember which podcast that we talked about this in, if it was you and I or Steven and I or whatever, but for a very long time, there have been it's not even rumors. They have tried to move away from turn-based. So Dragon Quest VIII, Dragon Quest IX were both developed where there wasn't turn-based, or maybe it was there were both or whatever, but both games suffered big delays, like seriously long delays, due to different components of the gameplay. 8, apparently, from what I've read over the years, was more in the planning phase, never in the actual programming phase. But Dragon Quest IX apparently was playable, was fully playable and everything, with just like Zelda gameplay type of thing. I say Zelda gameplay. Obviously, you had magic and you had stuff like that. And I know for 11, they talked about it again. And 10, while 10 is not real time, the fact that you can move during battles the whole time. In fact, you have to, because it's an MMO, right? They'll put stuff on the ground and you have to, make sure you're not standing in the crap. But for 12, I think this is going to be really, really interesting, because clearly something has happened at Square Enix. Because a number of years ago, we had the title reveal for Dragon Quest 12 and Dragon Quest 3, 2D HD or HD 2D or whatever the hell it's called there. The guys that did Octopath Traveler were working on it. And now for some reason, both games get announced, same exact not conference, but event, and then both games disappear completely. And we haven't heard from them in years. Neither game. It doesn't make sense. Something is clearly going on, and apparently that is the reason for this particular shakeup, is that they're saying okay, guys, what the hell is going on? I mean, it's been 6-7 years since Dragon Quest 11?
Yeah.
Something... It doesn't make any sense, right?
Exactly. Oh, if someone let the dog out, perfect. He was going crazy. I don't know if you guys heard the little critter,
No,
but no, you're right.
I don't hear anything.
I was going to say, I was talking to Nick, one of our community members, about when are we going to get Dragon Quest 12 news, dude? And is it going to be this year? And he's like, I don't know. Because I know that Square announced there wasn't Dragon Quest 3 remake, a year or two ago. So... it's going to be that.
What? Say again. What?
Wasn't Dragon Quest 3 getting a remake?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the
exactly,
HD 2D thing. That's it.
And it's going to be, and that went dormant, silent too. We haven't heard any news.
Dude, it was the same event. It was the exact same event that game was announced. That you saw the last announcement was the 12 logo, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And then and
so it's kind of
dead.
I want because I love that 2.5D. Whatever stuff. Square's done an excellent job with Octopath Traveler 2 and 1, and then there's another series. Anyways, they've done an excellent job with that. I love the visuals. Now, I'm not much of a retro, but that's when retro pixel graphics can be done pretty nice in a modern setup. But I just don't like the old 8-bit visuals. They're at this point they're
so dude, here on May 26th. 2021.
What? Yeah, that's like pandemic time, dude.
They announced that and 12.
And it's been silent since.
Yeah, silent. Not a screenshot, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they did have a report a few months back, maybe it's been a little bit longer, that the development for the remake is hitting some turbulence, and some people are debating, does that mean it's going to be delayed indefinitely, or they're going to scrap it? So there's something about that. So
I don't know.
Happy with it.
But dude, if I were to go, let me actually check something here. Let me check Dragon Quest series. Check this out, because please Wikipedia, don't fail me. Because okay, good. They have the Japanese timeline. Okay, get this. So we've got Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3 were released 1 year apart, which again, NES, okay, sure. Dragon Quest 3 to 4 was 2 years in between, so 1988 to 1990. Then between 4 and 5 was 2 years. Then between 5 and 6 was 3 years, so 1992 to 1995. Then 5 years between 6 and 7. And then 4 years between 7 and 8. 5 years between 8 and 9. 3 years between 9 and 10. 5 years between 10 and 11. And that was painful for Jared. For me, that was a wait, man, where I was like, what is taking so friggin' long for another mainline game? I was like, what the hell? But now, dude, you realize it's been 7. It has been 7 years. That's longer than any of them.
So if it doesn't come out this year, it's going to be 8 years. That's insane. Do you think it's out this year?
No chance.
I mean, we're already
no chance, dude. No chance. With the news that just broke, there's zero chance that this is happening. So I don't, like, again, people need to understand this is their second most lucrative franchise. And if I'm the president of the company, I'm literally going to be flexing on my people saying, guys, what are you doing? Like, this is the sort of thing where it's like every 2-3 years, I want a Dragon Quest out, man. They sell millions. Like, what the hell? Not saying every year or whatever. Hit.
No, not every year, but every 2 year,
well, even that, yeah. Like, I would say 3 years, like, focus. Don't turn this into Call of Duty. Focus your attention. But, dude, look at that. Like, to go from 8 to 9, I didn't even understand that. Okay, to be really honest, when 8 hit and I loved 8. 8 over the years, 8 has really moved up into like some of my top Dragon Quest games. Love the post-game content of that, which none of you people play Dragon Quest post-game. I don't get it. But it was a painful wait to go from that to 9. It was a painful wait. And then 9 to 10 was super exciting because it was, right, like it's an MMO. I was like, this is going to be like so badass. But to go from 10 to 11, I'll never forget that. Every bloody year I would be talking to all you guys just not understanding, because if you think of North Americans or Europeans, 2009 until 2017, and yes, the years are a little off because the world didn't get it the same time as Japan, but think of that, dude. That's insane.
That could kill your series.
Exactly.
People would then forget about it. You can't wait too long because out of mind, out of sight kind of thing. So, yeah, I agree. And I'm wondering, though, probably, I don't even think the remakes, I wouldn't be surprised if that Dragon Quest remake's going to be scrapped for the Switch and just be released for the Switch too.
Honestly, at
maybe
this
a launch title. That'd be huge. I doubt it is a launch title, but maybe in the first 6 months of launch, that'd be perfect. That'd be a huge game for Japan, even here, to get the new. I don't think at this point, why would you release on Switch 2 on Switch when Switch 1's like a year away? I mean, Switch 2 is about a year or so away.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do.
And maybe they inserted those. I don't know if they're fake about development hiccups, maybe AKA, well, we're gonna switch gears and go to the next system, but we're not telling you that. That could be it too, right? Who knows?
It could be, anyways, but it's just weird, dude. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I wonder what they're doing, dude. Because Final Fantasy is still getting a lot of love, right? So
yeah, but it didn't do as well. Final Fantasy 16 didn't do as well. I think the mistake there, again, I didn't see any hype at all for Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy it kind of died out as a series, didn't it? It's not like what it used to be. But I mean, the online version's thriving, by the way.
Yeah, that one's doing well.
By the way, you guys could get, I don't know about the PlayStation, but on Steam you could get a demo that'll literally free to play with very limited restrictions up to level 70. So if you guys want to try out online Final Fantasy 14, go ahead and try it. I'm thinking about doing it. I didn't care for the first MMO they did years ago, but now it's drastically different. It's more of an action game, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, Final Fantasy was like one of the first big series that ditched the turn-based mechanics. But part of me feels like I wonder what would happen if they actually released one with turn-based, because I don't know why that got like it seems to have gotten like this bad rap, but there's nothing wrong with turn based. What was annoying was random encounters. That was annoying.
That's not fun. That's an old school mechanic. Being able to see your thing to like dodge it and all that was great. I remember the older Pokemon games, man. It's like fucking A. If you don't have one of those little potions that allows you to miss encounters, like every other step, I'm like, oh my god, I just want to get to this place.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Hey,
no, but
it's annoying as hell.
No, I don't think exactly.
Even purists, well, they're probably purists out there.
No, but even me, man, like I adore Dragon Quest, and even me, like it does. I'm like, okay, all right,
that's enough, yeah,
sort of thing. But turn-based, no, turn-based. I like turn-based because I don't know what it is. I liked it, and I love the active time battle system from Final Fantasy, like where the gauges would fill, but they could still act and stuff. Like, I would love to see an experiment done with that in like a modern setting, because everyone talked to hell about it, but Dragon Quest XI did really well. Like worldwide, it did really, really well. So anyway, that's my news. You wanted to talk about Monster Hunter. What was the news?
Yes.
What's that all about?
So everyone knows that Capcom announced Monster Hunter Wilds, the next it's going to be the 6th generation in the series, because technically Rise is a side game, even though I didn't know that at the time. So it's not mainline. Worlds was the last one. Huge success on the PC, huge success for Capcom. I don't know if Rise did as well. I don't think it did, but
we can find
it still was it was still, while you're doing that, was still a success. So it's been recently leaked. Now, if you watch the gameplay footage of the announcement trailer, you'll see that no matter what, the worlds or levels are vastly larger than traditional Monster Hunter games by a substantial amount. A lot more going on with monsters on screen, etc., etc. Then there was leaks that, of course, after seeing that, people were debating, oh, it's going to be open world, but Capcom, kept their tight lid on that. They didn't say anything about officially being open world, but even though the trailer kind of hints towards that big time. So there were leaks, and they were shut down pretty quick, that the leaks regarding Monster Hunter Wilds were fake. The leaks claim that Monster Hunter Worlds will be released in first quarter 2025 next year, among other things. Now, Capcom did say 2025 is when it's come out. They didn't say first quarter. First quarter's come, but everyone's kind of thinking it will be. It might be, who knows? It depends. Now, Capcom's biggest game by far is, by the way, Monster Hunter.
Yep.
And so if it is, I, for one, want Monster Hunter to be an open world, because I think the whole format, especially these zones, I mean, they get bigger over the time, but if you play the older Monster Hunter, no disrespect, like GU is actually a really fun game. But dude, it's like every other step, it's like you're loading. You're loading. Now, like Rise, you have a level, you don't have to load to find the monsters, which is definitely drastically improved. You have to remember that these games were made on very limited hardware when they were first conceived, so you have to take that into consideration. But
PSP game?
Yeah, it was a DS game or 3DS game. It was a PlayStation game originally, the original Monster Hunter. So, and a couple things about the Monster Hunter series. One, I know the purists love the 4-player limitation, but it wasn't really limited. Now, they've kind of done lore to support why there's only 4 hunters at once, but AKA at the time it was a limitation. Let's be honest, right? I mean, PlayStation 1 wasn't known for its...
Okay, so it's actually PS2. It says...
PS2?
The original...
Yeah, it was PS2, yeah.
Yeah.
It was on PlayStation 2, my bad.
Yeah.
It was, and if you look at it, or played it, it was kind of like what I told you, like it had levels or a map, but it was broken in because the technology wasn't good enough to have a huge, vast world. Anyways, besides the point, the games have been much better with that. They have a sizable map. You go in there, there's no loading after you initial load into the zone. But the Monster Hunter Evolved series reeks or begs to be open world because of what it is. Imagine a huge, vast world, dude, where it's seamless like World of Warcraft, going around slaughtering monsters. Now, people are concerned. Well, if you do that, it breaks the 400 rule, possibly. Well, who says it's not going to be an MMO, so you can still have 4 people in this vast world playing together in a co-op environment. It's not too much that. Then they said, what about the bosses? Well, guys, I don't know. Have you not played most modern games? Most modern games have amazing, epic boss fights in a big, vast world. So that's not going to go away. If you're really concerned, they could do what like World of Warcraft does, have a sub place where it's like a little portal that's seamlessly in the environment. WoW did such an amazing job. So it's like you're walking normally, but it loads you into an instance where you could have a fight. So they could do that as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward. I personally think it should be a live service game because every time you play these Monster Hunter games, it's a grind to get the best gear, a grind and this and that. And then it's over. Yeah, they do support it with, updates for like a year or so. But after that, it's done, dude. It's like, wow, I worked so hard on this character, put hundreds of hours. I got to do it all over again. Now, some people love that. I personally think a live service game, the problem is Capcom did try that once with a Monster Hunter, and it kind of failed. It was like, I think an MMO or kind of like what I was live service type setup. So I don't know. The problem is live service games are risky because if you don't do it right, they flop. If you do it correctly, they're a hit. Fortnite, for instance, right? So you can be successful. The only thing is with Capcom is I don't trust them. They are horrible with their online. Like literally, if you play Monster Hunter, it's like you have to have friends. You have to be in your friends list. It's just not. You have to give them a code to join your lobby.
Okay.
You can't just go like maybe on the Steam version you could do a little bit better, but on the Switch it's a hassle. It's like in their limitations in the way they do stuff. I don't trust Capcom. They don't have good online infrastructure. They don't have good design for their games. And and think about Dragon Dogma, where their optimization for their Unreal Engine, or not Unreal, their Resident Evil RE engine can't handle the depth of that game, and that's an open world game, and it's having horrendously bad performance on all platforms. PC can be varied, right? Even high-end rigs are like, wow, my frame rate's like 3. What the hell is this? So I don't trust Capcom. The problem is their RE engine, I think, is old, and they need to ditch it, and they won't. So who knows? And I think they already said Wilds will be on the RE engine. So that other issues that they're having with Dragon Dogma 2, which could technically be fixed via patches, but I don't know, man. What is your take on it? Are you even a Dragon Hunter fan? A Monster Hunter fan?
Okay, so like that's why I was looking. If I remember right, I played that on the PSP ages ago. And I never got into the modern day ones, and that's not no, but it's not for any reason, honestly. It's more to do with time than anything else. It's just I have to be so selective on like what I can actually play. I was just looking though, Wilds, it's on Capcom's site. Its official release date is 2025. So
yeah, they've never said a window, but it's definitely still set for Wilds release window is still set for 2025. That hasn't changed. Now, the first quarter thing was rumor, and Capcom's been very aggressive about hammering these rumors quickly. Now, if you look throughout history, rumors tend to be true. Most part, not always, but they tend to be, somewhat, you can take a basis of it. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. I'd say it's more often that those rumors end up being true than not. So
yeah, well, I mean, depending on the time, I would love to actually like check it out and see what what all the fuss is about today. Would be kind of cool to do that, and especially considering obviously like my Dragon Quest is apparently never coming out. So
that's maybe in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
the 10-year anniversary of Dragon Quest XI's release.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Yeah, I don't know why they're dragging their feet.
Well, something is clearly going on, right? Like, so. What was the other one you had? What was your other topic?
Oh, God.
You had 2 things. It was Monster Hunter
and what was the other one?
He didn't write
Jesus,
it down.
Man. Here, let me see. What was it? I think I texted you, right?
Let's see. This is hysterical. Totally professional here,
Oh
people.
yeah, well, we already talked about it. I think the Helldivers. Oh, yeah, I don't know if we did.
No,
what
we
do you
didn't
guys think of the Helldivers 2 rumor? I think we did talk about it at the beginning on Xbox. Do you think any actual will happen? Do you think that's just hearsay? Yes.
Honestly, like,
Such a huge hit for Sony, dude. It would be unwise for them not to release it on that.
no, I just think like I don't know, with Sony and stuff like on other like consoles right now. I don't know about that.
Well, it is on Switch and Xbox. They're Major League Baseball franchise.
Yeah, but that was different. They lost the rights to that if they didn't.
Oh, they
it.
did.
If they wouldn't make it,
I didn't know that.
A multiplat. Yeah, no. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
why, like, this is different. This is like, I would be very surprised by something like this.
Oh.
But again, we'll see, right? Because like
That's the thing I wanted to talk about. You remember that link I gave earlier in the thing where even Nintendo's thinking or debating about the console exclusives, which we've talked about numerous times, is most likely to be a thing of the past.
Well,
it was kind of interesting seeing Nintendo's name in there because they're the one that's very reluctant in the past. They don't release their games on other platforms besides maybe mobile, and I'm still surprised their mobile presence is so small, man. You'd think that how popular Go has been, that they would melt that platform to death.
Yeah, but I think Nintendo is Nintendo. Like, so those guys, like, I always take, like, you know, they know what they're doing because they're clearly making gajillions of dollars. I think for the other two companies, sort of like what we've talked about a lot, like in the last like little bit, I just think that, you know, we've said it before, like desktops are dying, right? Like that market is shriveling up. So of course you'll always have your elite, right? You'll always have your PC elitist,
true, aka like, true gamer.
Yeah, here we go.
True gamer.
But these people are few and far between, right? Like it's not like it was years ago, laptops and stuff. And again, we've spoken about this, but like, you know, the technology is getting to a point where it's pretty impressive. Like what laptops can do, what tablets can do, like it's what your phone
tablets,
can do.
Cell phones, what
like
they can do.
It's crazy.
That bridge is, and like we said many times, the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're raised with phones. They're not getting desktops. They aren't even getting laptops.
No, exactly.
Like, why did I need that? They either have their work stuff for work, and then they have their I'll have everything I need in my
so that's
my
it,
phone,
right? So with that in mind, right? If you were to look at that and you were to look at the console space as a whole, right? It only makes sense that if you think of your PC manufacturers, right, like the people that actually make all the components and stuff like that, you're gonna want, or even your Valves, right, like people like Valve, Epic Game Store, all these sorts of things, like you're gonna want your products everywhere, because why would you want to stay on a platform that's getting smaller and smaller every year? That makes no sense. You're gonna eventually go bankrupt unless things change, right? So that's why, like, for me, where it's like, well, yeah, guys, obviously, like, the industry is heading to a place where the box doesn't matter anymore.
Yep.
And
Microsoft has been kind of aggressive, but they ever since acquiring Activision Blizzard, they even said that, says they don't see exclusives being a thing for even them. Now, I could see them doing timed exclusives because like an Xbox Game Pass or Xbox subscribers, they want value for their money, right? So they want to have that exclusive or something that they can have that others don't. So I could see them maybe giving a 6 month to a year exclusive, but a year is kind of risky, man, because I told you, like the whole Epic Game Store, when games are exclusive for a year, then they come to Steam, they don't sell as well. They could have potentially, if they had been day one releases on both platforms. So there's risk there too, because people forget about stuff. It's like I thought with Dragon Quest, like, wow, what's the last Dragon Quest? Who cares? I'm over it. So, you know, there's bad things about time exclusive. And people hate console exclusives, I think. I mean, obviously your fan points don't, but it's like as if you're a Microsoft person, you want to play Sony games. If Sony, you want to play the Xbox games, but
no, listen.
Luckily, PC is getting everything, right? So
yeah, but again, that's the thing. Like we say that, right? Like PC is getting everything, but if the PC market is going down,
they're
like,
gonna,
you know, like when we say go down, okay, let's not exaggerate. It's not like going to zero here, but it's like I get why Sony and all of these guys are, and Microsoft and everyone else is doing this. Like, obviously, it's like, okay, guys, like, we have this game, it costs us like $100 gajillion to make. Our platform only has so many people on it. I understand we also make the money from like the licenses, so we want people to buy our box. But this strategy of releasing on your box and releasing on PC, that's a no-brainer. Like, it's a no-brainer to do that. As long as the quality is maintained, that's the key component. You have to maintain that quality. Because like you were saying about Dragon's Dogma and all that, like, that's the problem that you run into when you start stretching yourself too thin, or your engine isn't like really great, that can be multi-platform or whatever. But I stand by what I'm saying. I really think I don't know when, it's hard to say, like in X years, I was going to say, but like, I do see that more and more the consoles are just going to become irrelevant. Like, it's not going to be about the box. It's like, Sony, get your act together and get a PlayStation app. You know, like, get that storefront ready.
Yeah, and they talked about that years ago. Where are they dragging their feet? Now they're really behind, and I don't understand that. They said that like 10, 15 years ago they made that comment. I always bring it up about how the hardware's not the future. They want PlayStation to be like Steam, and they're nowhere near that. I mean, now they're starting to make some headways on PC, but
those are individual releases, right? Like, that's not the thing. And if those rumors about Microsoft's next gen plan are true, to move away from consoles and to have everything basically just be a PC, obviously with, you know, like, it won't literally be a PC, but if it's the same architecture, if it's the same, you know, if it's using the same tools and this and that, everything else, I mean, like I said last time, and I stand by that, like, that would be game changing for the whole industry, because again, then who cares about the box? Yep. And if you're a PC manufacturer, you like that too, because that means, look at how many bloody Steam Deck and Switch competitors there are now. Like, Nintendo really hit it out of the park with that. That was a really good idea. When the Steam Deck rolled around, that was pretty remarkable too, because it was like, here's a full-fledged PC in that same form factor that you guys like. Just plug it in and boom, it's on your TV. And that's sick, man. Like, that's really something. And now there's tons, like you said, there's so many competitors that are out there. And if Microsoft enters enters the battle with a portable Xbox that's not an Xbox but is just a Steam Deck running Windows, that
it's going to be interesting. Man. And there's still more rumors about it coming up, mock-ups too. So I got this a little bit more fuel for fire. I think it's not just rumors at this point. I think it's really going to happen. And I would love to know is what people think in the comments about it. How many more years left do we have of real, true, dedicated consoles? Obviously next gen, so you're at least 10 more years. But what about 10 to 15 years? Do you think we'll have true dedicated consoles?
Yeah, I think you'll always have the boxes. I just think that won't be where the money is made. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that. Unfortunately, I see a world that we're not really going to like, because I can see a PlayStation app, an Xbox app, a Capcom app, an Ubisoft app.
Yeah,
that I don't.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that I don't quite like.
A Nintendo app, and
exactly. Like that, I can see that future, and that's part I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's just like all the launchers you have on PC. It's like, I really would love. I mean, Steam, you could technically add other games from other launchers into Steam, which is kind of nice. But I like one where you can just launch everything. So I would love a unified thing. That's why I'm trying to tell you. It's going to be sad to see Battle.net go after all these years, right? I wonder if that's going to be this year or next year, but I don't know. But Microsoft already said, once the sales finalized, that they'll have one unified launcher, so Battle.net's gone. Which is probably good, because Battle.net kind of still has problems, man. It's, so it's going to be interesting. My thing is, how seamless is it going to be to transfer your account, your content, your games over to the new platform? There's definitely going to be hurdles to go through, but they'll get it at the end of the day.
Microsoft's been they've been pretty good with that. Like, I got to give them credit for that.
Company,
they've been pretty good with that. And I always, you know, like even Sony's there. It hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been. They've shut off stuff, which pisses me off. Same with Nintendo.
Yeah, so is
like
Nintendo. It's
I
ridiculous.
don't like that. But whatever. That's a whole other subject. But in terms of like seamlessness of going from one platform to the other, I mean, I've had my
Microsoft's.
well, both actually Microsoft and Sony have been pretty consistent. Like I've had my PlayStation Network name now since PS3. It's been the same thing,
Yeah.
same everything.
Yeah, when I did the Helldivers, I made a new PlayStation account because I didn't remember it then. I'm like, wait, is it this email address I don't really use anymore? It is. So I logged in there, reset the patent. I have $25 credit from PlayStation 3 era still sitting there.
See?
I guess I could transfer it over to Helldivers, but who cares? But yeah, it's awesome. I'm like, wow, so it's still there after all these years.
Mm-hmm.
When was PlayStation 3, by the way? That's like 10, 15 years ago
Goodness,
at least.
now, yeah.
Yeah,
at
so
least, man.
it's amazing that, yeah,
Let's see.
but you could see that their storefront is, or my account's transitioned over, which is great. And Nintendo claims that they're going to do that with Switch 2, where you're.
Oh, I'm sure.
I hope so.
No, I think so.
All companies,
I think so.
they're the one I don't think is going to do a good job of.
Well,
but-
Nintendo's always like they've always been a little bit, you know, like, but it's been a
Archaic.
while now, like that they've had that unified sort
it's
of
true.
like, because 3DS, and I'm not talking about shared stuff and all of this, but like logging into like Nintendo.com, for example, like I've had my username there for quite a while.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But what I mean is, you should be able to play.
no,
your
I
Switch
get
games
it.
on-
No,
yeah.
I get it. Like the purchases and all of that.
Yeah, but
and-
we'll see about that. Dude.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Nintendo.
But again, like Steven always says, it's their prerogative, right? Like they can do whatever the hell they want. I personally don't
Yeah,
like
but it's
that.
also no. Yeah, I can understand what Steven, for one thing. When does he become so pro business, dude? It's like he kisses that Nintendo ass like no tomorrow. No, I can understand him. No disrespect, Steven. But the thing is, it's called pride. It's called technology. Embrace it. They are behind their competition by a substantial amount. And I can understand they want to do their own thing. And I'm 100% right. They want the mass consumer. Fine. You still could have a great platform to work on. There's no excuse for that. That's my thing. That's why I'm so aggressive towards it. It's not the 80s anymore, which these executives, some of those executives from Nintendo, I think are still in power. I'm joking. But I remember my friend said it years ago. It was a coworker. He's like, I'm done with Nintendo, dude. They're fucking behind. They're bullshitting. They're just archaic.
The F-bombs.
Their
Steve warned
executives
you
are
about
still
that. He was
stuck
like,
in
hey,
the
no
80s.
F-bombs.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Their executives are still stuck in the 80s, and that's true. And now I'm joking, kinda, but they are behind the times. There's no excuse for that. That's because they're conservative with their spending, and that's not. And to me, it's not acceptable as a consumer. Why, as a consumer, would I buy a product that's inferior to something else? It makes no sense.
Okay,
right?
but they're the most successful video game company.
Yeah, there's that.
So that's all that matters. At the end of the day,
to them, that's all that matters.
Well,
but
yeah,
it's a pride thing. It's technology. I can understand, like Steven says, I mean, I do not disagree. It's their platform. They can do whatever they want. That's fine. But at the same time, it's not like the technology's not there. They just choose not to. And that, to me, is not right.
No, I get it. And that's why you and Steven will have that debate forever. Like, you guys will have that debate forever. For me, I look at it, and I'm like...
You got a brown nose, guys, kissing that Nintendo ass.
I would like Nintendo to have a more, like, unified online presence, because it still boggles my mind that we have to use an app in order...
No, it's true.
You know, like, what was it? To communicate or whatever in multiplayer on...
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. There was a content creator who made a joke about that. He says, you know, one of the biggest scams, there was a couple other things. One of the biggest scams in the world is, the fact that you have to pay on consoles online to play your games multiplayer. He says that's the biggest scam in the world when PC doesn't have that shit, right? Matter of fact, consoles originally didn't have that either. Mm-hmm. If you remember that, that is by far the biggest bullshit scam in the world, that you have to pay to be able to play your games online. And there any fanboy there that says, oh, that's not true, they're doing what provide bullshit. What does the Nintendo's online service provide you guys? Be honest. What do you get? Oh yeah, you get to play retro games. Wow.
Okay, so with that, no, the thing that like I always say it, if people are willing to pay, that's it.
But do they have a choice, Jared? You buy a multiplayer game, you want to play it online. Well, shit. Either I don't buy the game, which I guess in theory, at the end of the day, you're right. Don't buy it. But you know people want to play their games, right?
No, of course, dude.
And then they have no choice but to buy.
Right, right.
So there's really no choice in the between.
I know, but I'm saying like with these companies, that's the way they make trillions of dollars, man. Is like
from a business standpoint, it's excellent.
Yeah, because
from
they
a consumer standpoint, it's bullshit.
Put you in a corner. But this is the kind of stuff that like when we get to a point where the box doesn't matter anymore, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. The fear I have is that companies like Microsoft are not going to give up that lucrative dough.
No,
so Xbox app, not only will it, like, will you have to buy your games, assuming that this is how they go, but you would also have a monthly subscription in order to play online. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see the next 10, 15 years. It's going to be super interesting.
I'm thinking about, there's talks about Steam. It always comes up here or there about they might go subscription-based system, like kind of like Xbox, where you don't have to buy games anymore. Now, I disagree with some of our community members on this. I love Xbox because I like to play the game, because to me is if you pay us, let's say $60. I forget the math. I think they increased it. So let's say it was $60 at least when I got it. If you play one or two AAA games that are $59.99, one AAA game at $59.99, you pay for the whole year's worth equivalent. So you don't have to buy it. Yeah, I know it's renting, you don't own, but I've told you this 1,000 times. You literally don't own any of your games on Steam. It's a license for your ability to play it. If that service goes down, which it won't, at least not for the foreseeable future, you're out of luck, guys.
Yep.
It's not your game. And I understand that fuels the physical versus digital argument. But the point is, don't have an illusion. Your Steam games are not yours. You just literally have a license. So people need to understand that. So to me, I'm all for subscription. I don't know if it'll be successful, though, but it might be. It might not be. Who knows? But the thing is, I was wondering, why hasn't Steam done with all the others? So, oh, yeah, you want to play your online games on Steam? Well, guess what? You have to pay $10 a month. I'm surprised they haven't done that. Do you think it would fly on PC, though?
Well, let's see. Let's see something. Let's see. How many?
I'm watch a Steam executive watch this podcast. Well, F yeah, man. Let's start doing that.
So Here's why, honestly, I think, is right now, as of 2021, which seems to be the last kind of numbers that we have here, I think. Oh, no, here we go. According to Statista, there are 132 million registered Steam users.
That's a lot, huh?
Yeah, but then why? Why would you take the chance of pissing off that many people,
it's not
right?
worth it, yeah. And I don't think they would do it. I do think that they might come with a subscription service to kind of like compete with maybe Microsoft.
Yeah, maybe
that I can see.
Yeah,
but
sure.
They're never gonna charge to play. Oh, dude, that would be extreme. Well, I mean, there'd be some people who don't care, obviously.
Yeah, there'd be people.
The bulk of their people would be.
Yeah, exactly. And so, guys, look at the math. So we've got 132 million there. You couple the Switch sales of I forget what that's up to, like 130, 140 million sold there. Take your PlayStation and Xbox sales, and we don't, there's a lot of people who are like me and Tim and Steven who have multiple of these things, right? So that's not indicative of the whole. It's not like combined there's 400 million. Sort of thing. But I keep going back. Like, I really think that you're going to see more and more of these sorts of things. Sony is going to continue to release more and more of their games on PC. Microsoft, Microsoft is going to blur the lines more and more between the two. And they're just going to keep going. And Nintendo, I will say what I always say. They're going to keep doing their own thing until they're not successful and they are forced to do something else. But that could be 40 years from now.
Well, maybe kind of now they're getting embraced in movies, which is kind of their backup plan, which is good. if you look through history, Switch did amazing. The Wii U bombed. So they've always been a hit, bomb, a crash, hit. But so is the next system, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as successful as the Switch 2. If you look at the Wii U, that's a prime example of that casual market that they're...
I wouldn't Wii U, I don't look at. I look at NES, SNES, N64.
Oh yeah,
those were
all down.
Yeah, right. But I think that's what you're gonna. I think you're gonna see something like that. Like you're gonna see it'll be successful, but I don't think it'll be as successful unless there's something we don't know about, right? Like unless there's some new thing. But I have no doubt that it'll be successful. But it won't be a Wii U. It for sure won't be a Wii U.
It won't be that. It won't even be a Switch. If they're smart, it'll be handheld. Again, some kind of hybrid. And I am interested. Nintendo's announced, which is shocking because they don't really make that many games to begin with. They are going to outsource their IPs a lot more the next system. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So maybe that's a good thing, man. Like, remember the last F-Zero was the Sega one, right? Not including the Battle Royale one, the 99 that's out now. That doesn't count. But I'm talking about the last true mainline F-Zero was the Sega one on GameCube, if I remember right. I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I thought there was on... Okay.
Was there one for the Wii?
Last F-Zero. No, it's not that. I thought for like it was Climax 3DS? Or something on the Game Boy Advance. I thought was the last one. Yeah, F-Zero.
All right.
F-Zero Climax is the 6th and final installment of the F-Zero series and 3rd to be released on the Game Boy Advance back in 2004, man.
So it's been a long time. But the reason
it's been 20 years.
Yeah. The reason I bring up Sega is because they did, I thought, an excellent job with F-Zero on the GameCube. I thought they did an excellent job. And I would love to see, maybe Sega do it again or some other company. Like Namco's done extremely well with some of the Nintendo products. What was that Pokemon Snap type game that they did for the Switch was really well. People were saying, why can't we have that type of visuals and engine in our mainline series? So maybe Nintendo letting other people do their work and they just do maybe 1 or 2 select games, kind of like what they do now. That'd be kind of interesting. But when they say they're going to be more aggressive about it, or like, I hope it comes to true, because it's like the Legend of Zelda Hyrule, what's it called? Warriors?
Yeah. Hyrule
did a couple games. That was cool. I would like to see, I'm telling you, man, I would love them to allow Zelda to be done by third party or indie games, like a true like RPG type thing overhead, or something cool that they could do with Zelda, something different, maybe a true survival game. But I don't know how ambitious Nintendo is going to be, because this is me talking, wanting a lot of cool ideas for their IPs that they don't traditionally do. To me, what's the point of letting your IPs out if you just limit it to basically their creative design? You're right. It's like, allow them to have some freedom, but they don't. That's one thing Nintendo doesn't usually do.
Well,
it's like they don't allow.
We'll see. That's all I'll say. We'll see, because
they did do a little bit in the GameCube era, right? Wasn't
no, but dude, they've always done stuff like the last one, like with Zelda, where they did that rhythm game. I can't remember what the hell it was called.
Oh yeah, that was by indie game. That's a prime example of what I want to see. Yeah. Is allow other companies to do something drastically different with their series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a big hit too, by the way. If I remember the story right, the Nintendo exec, either they went to Nintendo or one of their big peeps at their company liked the game that it was based on, and they said, "Oh yeah, sure, we like this. Can you do it for us?" So that happens once in a while. Like to happen with Tetrasphere. You remember that game for N64? Man, that was. I wish they would do a remaster of that. That was such an underrated game, great game. But I think the company that made it is like long gone. But like Silicon Knights, you remember them?
Yep, I remember them.
Long gone, dude. So,
all right, people. Yeah. We're at time, so I can't wait to see the comments of this. It's going to be hysterical. It's going to be absolutely hilarious.
We still need to get all 3 of us in there, because
I would love to see. I'd love to see Steven say how.
Yeah, Steven gives me a hard time. I give him a hard time, but at the end of the day, he has to see my points. It's like there's technology there. If you don't use it, there's no excuse for that.
I love it,
and that's just because of cutting costs. Which, hey, what can you do? All businesses do it, but it's garbage.
I love this. I can't. Okay, this is great. All right, peeps. We will see you next week with another episode. Oh, I heard that. So perfect time. Doggy. Perfect time.
He's it's over, guys.
All right. Take care, everyone.